And they're off. St. Sheila gets the first call. Nephili is asked for speed. At the rail, here's Tenacious Candy, moving right through to challenge St. Sheila. Behind this group comes Roman Bronze in fourth. Then Walk Down Colgate, who's down at the rail, two clear of Rebel Exis, and Siempre Naman is at the back of the field. Into the far turn, it's Tenacious Candy leading the way, pressed by St. Sheila. These two long shots duking it out, three clear of Nephili, and the favorite is trying to get after the top pair now. Then Walk Down Colgate racing fourth, 4 lengths off the lead. Rebel Exis, Roman Bronze, 5 more to a hard-ridden Siempre Naman. A quarter of a mile to go. St. Sheila goes on with it. Tenacious Candy under pressure. Now Nephili takes up the chase in second. They're followed by Walk Down Colgate. Down at the rails, Siempre Naman is really coming alive late. Inside the 8th pole, St. Sheila, 3-length lead. Nephili second. Siempre Naman inside Rebel Exis battling for third. It will be St. Sheila. St. Sheila causes an upset in front-running fashion. Second to Nephili, then Rebel Exis and Siempre Naman. And they're off. Joint Venture and Sakil ready to pounce in between them. Keep moving on, and not the best of beginnings for Royal and Rando, who trails. Joint Venture is quickest into the first turn. He's wide but in front. Leads a length and a half, ready to pounce. Angle stay is outside. And Sakil is tucked in on the rail. They're followed by Keep Moving On, and Royal and Rando, 4 lengths, covers the field. 6 furlongs to run, and it's Joint Venture establishing the pace, leading a length and a half now. Ready to pounce is in second. Sakil comfortable in hand, snugly third. Then comes Keep Moving On in fourth. Racing 3 lengths off the lead to the 5/8 pole. And Royal and Rando has trailed every step. Joint Venture and Kent Desormo in front. A length and a half now, ready to pounce second. Sakil gets a little bit of a nudge, responds immediately, and reclaims second, coming to the half mile. In fact, passing it. It's Joint Venture, Sakil 1-2. Ready to pounce, keeping pace on the outside. Once again, he's in second as Sakil comes under some pressure. Keep Moving On is on the outside. Only 2 lengths off the lead. These 4 tightly bunched. Royal and Rando trails approaching the quarter pole. Joint Venture ready to pounce. Outside, Keep Moving On. Sakil is just behind them in fourth. 3 clear of Royal and Rando, top of the stretch and ready to pounce. Has done just that. He's right alongside Joint Venture, who's not done. Joint Venture digging in, ready to pounce. Ready to pounce on the outside, has his head in front and starts to edge away. A 16th to go, and it's ready to pounce in front. Joint Venture fought hard, but he'll be second to Ready to Pounce. Joint Venture, Sakil, and Keep Moving On. Last one to load is Soul Music. In the gate. And they're off. Elegant Life, Soul Music on the outside, has sharp early speed too. And in between horses, the Gypsy Cowboy is up close, as is White Mountain, who's now in the 3rd spot. Down at the rail comes Silver and Black, 4 lengths off the lead. A 3-wide Sinful King is next, and Topper's Wager at the back of the field. It's Elegant Life, the leader, pressed by Soul Music with less than 6 furlongs to run. White Mountain gets a nice setup in front of him, 3rd. It's another 3 back to Silver and Black, who's 4th and 6 off the pace while racing in hand. The Gypsy Cowboy and Sinful King are right next to one another, and then a half dozen or so to an unhurried Topper's Wager. They have a half mile left to travel, and Elegant Life has been there throughout. Soul Music a neck back second, but here comes Silver and Black. And Silver and Black, he just needs to find a spot. Will he do it now is the question. He's right on horse's heels, ready to inhale that top pair. In the meantime, Sinful King is getting a clear shot while going 3 wide, and White Mountain is in between those two. Silver and Black has to tap on the brakes behind a tiring Elegant Life. Angles to the 2-path now, as Soul Music is the leader with a 1/4 mile to go. White Mountain had the dream trip and gets the run on Silver and Black, who's trying to sneak through a narrow opening. They're at the top of the stretch. Silver and Black having a horrendous trip as White Mountain takes over inside the final 1/8 of a mile. Soul Music second, Silver and Black third, followed by the Gypsy Cowboy, a 16th to go. And it's White Mountain and Adrian Escobedo home free. White Mountain wins it by 4. Silver and Black second, the Gypsy Cowboy and Soul Music. In the gate. That's a movement. Rider has climbed off. In without knocking. And they're off. In without knocking, hard ridden. Little brother Joey is quickest and takes command. Updraft, Bo Broom, extreme outside. Dazzle the Command is next. Liberty Wolf is down at the rail. In without knocking, now second to last, and the trailer is Acero. They're running to the 6 furlong pole, and little brother Joey is the quickest. Has it 3/4 of a length to Updraft in second, and then it's Bo Broom a 3 wide third. Liberty Wolf at the rail, 4 off the pace in fourth, then Dazzle the Command in fifth, 2 clear of Acero, and In Without Knocking has 7 to make up at the 5/8 pole, where little brother Joey has been headed by Updraft. It's Updraft, the new leader. On the extreme outside, Dazzle the Command is making an early move, and in between those two comes Bo Broom. Liberty Wolf is in fifth, 5 lengths off the lead. Acero is next, and In Without Knocking continues at the back of the field. They're heading to the 3/8 pole, and it is Updraft in front, but still some pressure from the rail. Little brother Joey, Dazzle the Command, 3 wide in third. Then it's Bo Broom. Acero called on fifth, as little brother Joey is resurgent. He took a little breather and is opening up at the 1/4 pole. Little brother Joey is the one to catch. Dazzle the Command in second, followed by Updraft a weak in third. Bo Broom is down at the rail. Liberty Wolf between horses, and Acero final furlong. Little brother Joey, Dazzle the Command within 2 lengths of him. Little brother Joey trying to find the wire. Dazzle the Command grinding away. Dazzle the Command within a length of little brother Joey. Little brother Joey or Dazzle the Command come to the wire. Dazzle the Command and little brother Joey. It's a tight photo between those two. Very close. Updraft third, Liberty Wolf was fourth. Throughout the day. In the infield, we'll be bringing back the Spring Carnival with rides, games, delicious carnival food, pony rides, bounce houses, and much more. Also, and they're off. Agro had a very nice beginning. Magakai, hard ridden by Herrera for speed. Mrazek's Old Dream in between those two. And McKenna Rita is joining the party from the fence. So here comes McKenna Rita. And McKenna Rita cuts the corner and will battle with Magakai. Those two 1-2 around the first turn. And the favorite, Ready to Risk It All, comes right after them 3 deep in third. Mrazek's Old Dream is next, followed by Buds and Suds fifth. And 6 lengths off the new leader, Ready to Risk It All. Agro Orange Cap is next. It's a gap of a half dozen to Choke, Cherry, Sherry. 5 furlongs to run. Juan Hernandez and Ready to Risk It All take over. Lead at a length. McKenna Rita, Magakai head and head second and third. And Mrazek's Old Dream is just outside of them. They're followed by Agro and Buds and Suds, 6 lengths off them, losing a touch of ground. 4 more to Choke, Cherry, Sherry. And then it's a big gap To the trailer, Alahiz, who didn't get a call first time around. 3 furlongs to go, ready to risk it all, leads the way. 2-length advantage. Mrazek's Old Dream moves into second now and is within a length and a half of Ready to Risk It All. Agro is now starting to find her best stride, takes third coming to the quarter pole, and in behind her, Buds and Zuds is 3 wide outside. Magakai and McKenna Rita, they turn for home, Ready to Risk It All. Agro on the outside continues to make progress. Mrazek's Old Dream is currently in second. And here's Alahiz. And Alahiz, who was dead last, is coming with a ferocious kick down the middle of the racetrack. Alahiz storms by them all, coming alive under Giovanni Franco to win it going away. Agro was second, Ready to Risk It All third. Buds and Suds was fourth. And they're off. And War to Remember is hustled out of the gate, establishes the lead at once. 32 Chunk and Going Viral are in the mix through the early stages too as they get to the main course. Chief Renegade in the yellow colors is only about a length or so off the lead and Tech's widest of all. Down at the rail comes Helicity, who is followed by King Stephen. The favorite settles in mid-pack, steadying just a touch off horse's heels, joined by Charlie Foxtrot on the outside. Da Capo in the green has 8 to make up. It's a gap of 6 to slow starting Redial. Into the far turn. War to Remember in front, a length and a half to Going Viral, and Helicity at the rail in third. Then it's 32 Chunk in the fourth spot. He's followed by Tex. King Stephen is down on the inside with 7 to make up. Outside of him, Charlie Foxtrot is next, and then Da Capo. Turning for home, and War to Remember trying to sprint away. Helicity has been a danger throughout. These two pass the 8th pole together, and King Stephen is now really getting going. And King Stephen is within 3 lengths of Helicity and War to Remember. King Stephen's coming to get them, and King Stephen runs them down impressively under Hector Berrios. Tight photo between War to Remember and Helicity, and first-time starter Da Capo with some good energy late. And they're off. Mendelssohn's Music, immediately headed by P22, who has sharp early speed, joined by Spiritist, and these two hook up down the back stretch. Pratchett is close up. Red Silk's taking third, as Mendelssohn's Music now in fourth. Then comes Cody Boy, who broke well enough, racing 2 lengths clear of Big Splash, the 2 trailers Uplift, and Bucker 2 at the back. Around the far turn, it's P22 and Spiritist head and head for the lead. Pratchett guided to the 3-path by Ayuso and coming after the top pair now. Then Cody Boy, a close-up fourth, 3 lengths off the lead. Mendelssohn's Music, Big Splash, is moving up outside of him. 3 lengths clear of Bucker 2 and Uplift. They have a quarter of a mile to go. And P22 hanging tough. Cody Boy has room at the rail. On the outside, here's Pratchett. It's down to Cody Boy and Pratchett in between them. P22, these 3 coming for the wire, but it's Cody Boy and Hector Berrios starting to pull away late. Cody Boy, a length and a half, make it 2. Now it's almost 3. It will be Cody Boy. Tight photo. Nose is bobbing for second, either Pratchett or P22. Spirit is fourth. And they're off in the Sensational Star. On the whim, bounced out perfectly. Here's King's River Knight, wasting no time from that inside post position. Juan Hernandez asks him for speed and gets it. The very quick, fast buck is in front down the hill, and Tom Horn takes second. But King's River Knight gets a good stalking spot from third. They're followed by Lovesick Blues in fourth and Clovis Connection fifth. A gap of 5 back to On the Whim, who broke on top, but now settled just in front of Lonesome Stew. Fast Buck, flashing his foot, leads the way down the hill, but he's getting some serious pressure already. There's Lovesick Blues and King's River Knight in between horses. Clovis Connection on the far outside, and Tom Horn is just behind them. On the Whim is next, and Lonesome Stew. They have a quarter of a mile to go, and Lovesick Blues running a big race outside King's River Knight. Fast Buck not done. He's fighting on bravely, and Tom Horn is starting to kick in. Center of the course, here's Lonesome Stew, and he's flying down that center of the course as Tom Horn comes after Lovesick Blues. Lovesick Blues, Tom Horn, Lonesome Stew from last to first to win the Sensational Star under Antonio Fresu. Tom Horn, then a battle between On the Whim and Lovesick Blues. Ninth race, scratch numbers 5 and 8. Note that Giovanni Franco rides number 12, Warren's World. $5 late double. They're in the gate. And they're off. Warren's World out quickly. Big Don smiling, and Momo's Kiddo in the mix early on. They are joined by Divine Rascal and Coulthard. And here's Coulthard coming through to lead that group. So it's Coulthard in front, Divine Rascal second. Running Ute now moves up to claim third. Warren's World, Momo's Kiddo in fifth. They're followed by Big Don smiling. Then it's a gap of 5 back to the next flight. Love Candy is in that group, along with Major Tom in the lime colors, extreme outside. Ermelinda's Fancy and Touch of Zen is the trailer. 3 furlongs out, and it is Coulthard pushed along to try and fend off Running Ute, but Running Ute goes by now, and Running Ute is the new leader, putting almost a length and now doing just that on Coulthard. They're followed by Divine Rascal in third. From the back, Major Tom's trying to mount a bit of a bid. He's got a lot of ground to make up, however, as Running Ute turns for home in charge coming to the 8th pole. Divine Rascal is chasing in the middle of the racetrack and making up some headway. Running Ute getting tired. Here's Divine Rascal to scoop him up on the outside, and from way back, Major Tom is rolling but running out of time. Divine Rascal, Running Ute not done. Running Ute, Divine Rascal, here's the line. Photo finish. Looked like Divine Rascal, but it's very tight. Running Ute really hung in there gamely. Then it was Major Tom who made up a lot of ground to get the show dough. Touch of Zen was fourth. Park, try the all-new Santa Anita Mule made with Kettle One vodka. Family made. Enjoy responsibly. All in line. And they're off, and no surprises as Starts Now sprints right out of the gate. Paradise Lake has some good early foot too, and just behind them, Mizion is in third. They are followed by Kentucky Gal, who's down on the inside, and Public Assembly is fifth in between horses. She's right next to Esmeralda as they come by the stands the first time. Strutting is second to last, and Cheekiest at the back of the field. They come in front of us the first time round, and it is Relu Gutierrez and Starts Now, just trying to dole out that speed with Mizion keeping her honest in second, and Paradise Lake races in third. Public Assembly is in between horses, and Kentucky Gal is on the fence. Here's Strutting in the green colors, 6 lengths off the lead. She is followed by Esmeralda and another 2 back to Cheekiest. They move toward the backstretch, and it Starts Now, in front by a length and a half. Umberto Rispoli and Mizion under a nice hold in second. Then comes Kentucky Gal, who's forwardly placed just 2 lengths off the pace in third. Paradise Lake is outside of her, and Public Assembly between those two. Strutting is next, 6 off the pace coming to the half-mile pole, followed by Esmeralda, and Cheekiest continues at the back. They move toward the far turn, Starts Now a length. Mizion still right there with her second. Kentucky Gal side by side with Paradise Lake. Public Assembly is still racing between those two, but has lost just about a length on them now as they start to sprint quickly around the far turn. Starts now Mizion. On the outside of them, Paradise Lake is in third. Kentucky Gal awaiting racing room. And then Public Assembly there at the top of the stretch. On the outside, here's Paradise Lake. And now Public Assembly is cut loose in a big way. She's drifting in a bit and going head and head with Paradise Lake. Paradise Lake, and on the outside, Public Assembly. Public Assembly erupts late and wins with style. Kentucky Gal ended up finishing second. Cheekiest flew through on the inside to be part of the show photo along with Mizion. $3 pick three, 1,864.50.
I'll give you 100,000 reasons why you should be playing the Pick 6 today, and at 3:08 p.m. Pacific time, which is the start of race number 5, I'll give you 600,000 reasons why you should be playing the Pick 6, because that's the estimated pool size, $600,000 on top of the $100,000 Pick 6 carryover coming into today's card. Hi everybody, my name is Tom Quigley. Delighted you decided to join us not only today, but also at San Diego Derby weekend. Tomorrow we've got 12 races beginning at noon Pacific, and on Sunday, another 12 races starting at 12:30 p.m. Sitting alongside me, noted clocker workout analyst for nationalturf.com, his name, Andy Harrington.
Hey.
Andy, happy Friday. Welcome to the seminar.
Thanks for the invite again.
Now, not only are we going to put you to the task, Andy, of analyzing today's 10-race card, including the Pick 6 carryover that I mentioned, but since you're here the day before the San Diego Derby, I figured I'd go through post-position order 5 runners and kind of take a look at their most recent workouts to get your evaluation of what you thought. So without wasting 1 second, let's take a look at the workout for Journalism. Journalism worked on March 29th. This was a solo workout. What did you think of Journalism's most recent workout, Andy?
I think he's hitting on all cylinders. This is Umberto Ruspoli up. This is a typical Michael McCarthy drill, which is kind of a steady 101 and change drill, but then the gallop out is everything. Umberto kind of just shook the reins at him a little past the wire, and like his mentor, Todd Pletcher, Michael McCarthy's horses it's all the gallop out. And this horse came through really well. He worked with Endlessly the week before, an easy 5/8 to 1 drill before that. Has he really dialed it down 100% since the last race? Probably not, but he's done enough that he will certainly run his A game.
Andy, I'm not a noted workout analyst like you are, but there's two things that catches my eye as journalism is coming through the lane here. First of all, the size of this 3-year-old colt. We're going to see all the other runners work in just a minute, but in my opinion, this is the biggest colt of them all. And then right here, as we're watching, the acceleration he shows. He's a son of Curlin. Of course, you would expect Curlin to improve as the distance increases, and here's the gallop out you mentioned. Yeah. It sure seems the more yardage he covers, the more impressive he is.
Of all the horses in the San Antonio Derby, this is the one I have the least worry about getting a 1.25 miles should he get into the gate at Churchill in a month and a couple days.
Sometimes time doesn't tell the whole story, and as you mentioned, that gallop out was very impressive. And I think the key question for handicappers and players tomorrow, Andy, is how cranked is journalism? Because let's face it, Charlie Whittingham, you'll remember, used to do this, use certain races at prep races for bigger fish down the road. We'll see how cranked up journalism is. We know others are going to be 100% cranked because they need the points to get in the starting gate.
He ran a huge race with a 108 buyer off about a 3-month break last time. And I'm not saying he's going to bounce because he's training well, but does Michael McCarthy really want to have a big race tomorrow and then a big race hopefully in a month? I don't know.
I would agree with you. Now, perhaps speaking of horses that might need, certainly to show a good performance, this is March 29th of Citizen Bull. And you can already look at the workout times for Citizen Bull, 5 furlongs and 58 and change. We just watched a journalism run in basically 101 and change. So this is going to be a much quicker workout. But as we're watching the workout, this team drill here, Andy, one thing that catches my eye is from a scope standpoint, he's just not as big of a stature type of horse as journalism is.
No, he's kind of a roly-poly horse. He's got a lot of flesh to him, but he's not really a lanky 1.25 mile classic-looking horse. He has done nothing wrong, although I will say that he's had relatively easy leads in his last 2 races in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and in the last race here. I assume he's going to the lead. That's how he's won. This drill, but there's nothing tonight. This drill is great. This is J.J. Hernandez up. They let him run a little past the quarter. This is 58 to the wire. And, and like a lot of Baffert horses do, this horse worked out in like 111-1 down to the bottom. He is asking him, but he kills Dothraki, who's a decent allowance horse. And then this is your basic top-notch Baffert gallop out,
Just like journalism, the best part of Citizen Bull's work, as you mentioned, Eddie, was the final part of that workout. Interesting to see how the tactics, as you mentioned, of which both horses and jockeys employ. Continuing through the San Diego Derby field, the next runner is a maiden from the John Sheriff's barn by the name of Westwood. That's Westwood down on the inside, working with multiple graded stakes winner Express Train. Again, visually, this wasn't maybe one that knocks your socks off, but he does have a little bit of ability. I'm not saying he's going to win the San Diego Derby, but he's a nice 3-year-old.
Yeah, I'm sure, he's second best Express Train, but big deal. Express Train's won $1.5 million.
He's older, right? Older, more accomplished.
I would be surprised for him to step up. I don't see, in this drill, any giant step up where he's going to run out of this world tomorrow, to be honest with you. He is a little overmatched. Maybe that, so saying that, there's no disgrace in this drill. It just doesn't seem like a step-up drill to me.
Let's, as we continue to watch the work, and as we mentioned, you can see both exercise riders not really asking their horses for 100% of their ability. And make no mistake, Westwood is in there trying to hang in there with Express Train. But at the end of the day, Express Train gets the better of him, which you would expect, given the resumes that those two horses run. Now we come to the other Bob Baffert runner, the son of Into Mischief, who cost $3.2 million at auction. That is Barnes way in the back, trailing a runner by the name of Nima, also from the Bob Baffert barn. Just from the appearance of this, Andy, back on March 31st, it looks like they were trying to teach Barnes how to pass a horse.
Well, they're also giving him a target. His last 2 drills, the 1-2 back, he got outworked by Rodriguez, who's going to the Wood Memorial tomorrow. And then the drill 3 back, he got outworked by Cornucopian. This drill, they gave him Nima is just an average horse. And Nima is taken to the 3 path, kind of let part the Red Sea seas, so to speak, and let this horse come through on the inside. But if you watch Nima and the yellow hat on the outside, they're not asking the horse at all. Now, JJ Hernandez is up on Barnes here. They had blinkers off on this horse a few times. They put him back on here. It was a slightly improved drill than the previous 2 drills. He is still asking him a little bit. He's not physically, looks like a 1.25 mile horse to me. And this also, if they follow him on the gallop out, it's the unbaffered gallop out. He basically he's coming up to the 7 furlong pole here. He goes, okay, and then he just stops at the 6.5.
Rather than continue on like we saw with Citizen Bull.
Yeah, that's sort of him too. Barnes does that all the time. He doesn't have these long gallops. He just says, oh, I've done enough. I'm going home and having some water.
Now, one more workout to watch, Andy, in preparation for the San Diego Derby tomorrow. That would be the son of McKinsey, Baeza, who obviously is regally bred. Now, Baeza is going to be solo to start, but suddenly you'll see that he picks up a workmate and goes to the outside. This was back on March 29th. Bolt It Down is perhaps a horse we want to put down in our horses to watch list, which you'll see in a moment why. But before I spoil the ending, talk to us about what you thought of this work of Baeza.
Well, Baeza is a bit of an immature horse mentally, and this I thought was a big step up. He had trained with Bolt It Down before 3 drills back, and he did kind of a goofy drift out when he went down to the 7/8 ball. Maybe he just shied from something. Maybe he saw a bird and wanted to chase it. I don't know. But this drill was much more focused. He moves outside Bolt It Down, this is Bolt It Down's 5th recorded drill, an unraced maiden. So obviously put that then, as Tom just said. But Hector Barris is up on Baeza. He's trained this horse fast and slow. I wouldn't be surprised if this horse shows some speed and tries to put pressure on whichever Baffert goes to the lead. I'm assuming Citizen Bull's going to the lead. And then Bolt It Down here gets up, and this horse goes down. It worked in a full 6 furlongs. I had like 11-2 and galloped out well. That's the X factor to me. And it drew really well. It's going to be outside, depending on what Baffert does, which one he sends. I think this horse might be 2nd or 3rd over going into clubhouse turn.
We're spoiled as horse players and handicappers. That's because we're able to watch that workout video courtesy of our friends at firsttv.com. We're also spoiled because we've got Andy Harrington, noted workout analyst for nationalturf.com, as our seminar guest today. We're going to focus on today's 10-race card. But before we do that, let's find out what the scratches and changes are on today's card. We'll toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati, and we'll be right back here at the Great Race Place.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. It is Santa Anita Derby weekend, and the track is fast. Turf is firm. The rail on the turf out 30 feet for today's racing card. And, of course, the big news, the Pick 6 carryover of more than $100,000. The Pick 6 on races 5 through 10. Here are the early changes on the entire card. Race 1, scratch number 6, Girl Can't Help It. The early Pick 5 starts here. Race 2, number 2, Cohart, 1 pound over. In the 3rd, scratch number 9, Blushing. Race 3, take out the 9. In the 4th, scratch 2, Good Vibes Only, program scratch. There is a middle Pick 4 today, offered on race number 4. In the 5th, scratch 1, Jaguar John. Race 5, scratch number 1. That's the start of the Pick 6. $100,818. Race 6 starts the all-turf Pick 3 and late Pick 5. Number 1, Annie's Joy, make the rider Armando Ayuso. In the 7th event, late Pick 4 starts. No changes. Turning to the 8th, scratch number 9, Riders Candy. In the 9th, scratch 8, Wind Ribbon. And number 14, Gypsy Tears. Number 13, Supernal Will Run. And late double starts there. And in the 10th and final, we offer super high 5 wagering. No changes. Coast to Coast Pick 5 every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, combining races from Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita Park. It will start with our second race today, Santa Anita Park's race 2 for the start of the very popular Coast to Coast Pick 5. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner for the seminar with 57 minutes to post for race 1. You could never ask for a better guest on a day where we have a huge carryover in the Pick 6, the widely respected Andy Harrington of NationalTurf.com.
Welcome back. It's a good Friday here at the Great Race Place. That's because we have a Pick 6 carryover in excess of $100,000. Expectations are another $500,000 of new money will be added to that. So who better than to have, as you just heard Frank Miramati say, than Andy Harrington to help us guide us through not only the Pick 6 sequence, which starts in race number 5, but also the entire 10-race card, beginning in race number 1, where we're on the turf course. Of course, the racing conditions today are fast and firm. You could not ask for better weather here in Southern California all weekend long. The turf rails are at 30 feet. This is for fillies and mares, $32,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. Race 1 also begins the popular 50-cent early Pick 5. Scratch the 6. Girl Can't Help It. Girl Can't Help It leaves us with a field of 6. The morning line favoritism vying back and forth between the inside 2 fillies and mares. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Andy, you wanted to show a workout for number 2, Star of the Night. This was a training track drill in company back on March 29th. You can see Star of the Night starts out solo, then picks up a workmate and goes to the outside. What say you about this workout?
I thought it was interesting from this standpoint. The horse was rank in her last race, and it kind of really never really settled early. It gets this Patty Gallagher horse comes through inside. She doesn't turn a hair. She just relaxes, gallops out, gallops easily, waits, and then on the gallop out past the wire, it had obviously plenty left. They drop it in for 32 here. It only has 5 races on its docket as a 5-year-old, and it's kind of cut a couple modest races off the break. Mark Latt may feel like he's got a free bingo square, but once this horse switches the lead, she never gets crazy, and the gallop out is far clear of the Patty Gallagher, who jumped in from the inside down the backside. But you can see the gallop out, there's plenty left once the rider sort of loosens the reins.
Star of the Night currently 5-2 on the top board, but you also give a little love to number 3, Step It Out from the Phil D'Amato barn with Umberto Rispoli in the saddle. What do you like about her?
I was swayed. Umberto Rispoli has first call down in the Jonathan Thomas barn and almost probably in the Phil D'Amato barn, and he chose Phil's horse Step It Out, the number 3 horse. I couldn't pick between the two, so I took what Umberto thought. So I went with the 3. So Step It Out's always shown consistency, and so I thought it would be right there in this race.
And if Umberto doesn't win, blame Umberto's jockey agent, Matt Nakatani. Race number 2 begins the 50-cent early Pick 4. We're sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track for maiden claiming Calbred fillies and mares in for a $50,000 tag. Field of 6, number 5, Miss Michelada from the Steve Knapp barn is the 9-5 morning line favorite. Kyle Frey been winning races in bunches lately. Talk to us about race 2.
I went with the 4 horse in here from the Paula Capestro barn, the Rosie Ann Rules, the 5-year-old maiden. I mean, I'm not one that picks 0 for 15 maidens, but there's not a lot of speed in here. It came off a long layoff, showed some speed, kind of did a mid-race move and got flattened out a little bit. It's really difficult to train on the dirt at San Luis and come off a long break fitness-wise and run big on this track, which is much more deep. So I thought this horse would show a lot more speed. Aguilar, who has ridden for this horse in the past and has gotten the best efforts out of it, goes back to the horse. I also, like 2 years ago, I had a 34 flat at San Luis in this horse, and it's never left my head. So I keep thinking it's going to run to it. But that was 2 years ago, and it's still a hole for 15. So, but again, in what I think is a relatively paceless race, I thought it would go to the lead in here. And my second choice in here is the obvious favorite with Kyle Frey up, Miss Michelada, the 5 horse in here. It's always been thereabouts. It draws really well. So I thought those 2 would run around the track together, and we'll see. Hopefully the Capestro at a little bit more of a price can stay clear.
You've got a great memory and a good patience, Andy. Let's see if that pays dividends in race number 3, where we're sprinting 6 furlongs in the turf course for fillies and mares. $30,000 claimers, non-winners of 3 races lifetime. Scratch the also eligible. Leaves us with a field of 8. Number 6, Ace Baby. Speaking of winning races in bunches, trainer Jeff Mullins has had a fantastic winter meet here. 5-2 on the morning line. Give us a winner in race 3, Andy.
It's a wide open race. So I always look at the cutbacks in these grass races, and the 2 horse in here, Free and Humble, ran a really big race 2 back. It might have knocked the horse out. And then they also went from a mile to a mile and an eighth, which just may be too far for this horse. Now they dial it back, draws inside, goes in. Antonio Fresu has trained two good drills down at San Luis race. Since the race, I thought it had a really big shot in here, drops down into a claimer that is, like I said, completely wide open. My second horse in here was Vegas Love, who's trained with decent horses that work with Balkanov in this.
Little Red Feather.
Yes, the filly worked and was second best to Balkanov in a set of 3. The drill before that was Divine Propes, who's graded stakes placed, was second best to that horse. But I'm willing to take a shot at the kind of the stranger danger in here. So Vegas leg of a 10-1, I thought had at least a shot in here. Everybody else has just run against each other, and one of them could win, but I took the newcomer.
9-2 over 10-1. So says our seminar guest Andy Harrington in race number 3. Race number 4 on today's 10 race card offers a 50-cent middle pick 4, and we kick things off sprinting the abbreviated sprint distance of 5.5 furlongs for $8,000 claimers. Program scratch of the 2, Good Vibes Only, leaves us with a field of 7. The even money favorite number 6, Chasing Money, fresh off a victory for $10,000. Now you can have him for $8,000. Antonio Fresu in the saddle. Talk to us about race 4, Andy.
Well, he certainly could win. Chasing Money is my second choice, but I went with Honeymoon Suite in here, the 5 horse in here.
And let's talk about Honeymoon Suite for a minute. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but way back on March 2nd, which was since his last race, he actually worked out here solo on March 2nd. So if we have that workout queued up, let's show Honeymoon Suite. There he is.
This is a awfully good drill for a bottom level horse. It has a subsequent gate drill on the 30th and 34 and change, and that was above average for the level. It has a 34 flat also. But this horse is for an $8,000 horse. This is as good as you're going to get. I think that's the
and has company here and doesn't really get discouraged or. Distracted.
No, she does everything right. So I got to think that it's going to run her A game, whatever that is. And it's 9-2, which isn't the world, but there's some horses in here. I mean, the favorite, Chasing Money, who's my second choice, is even money. And it's hard to take an even money shot in an $8,000 race, to be honest.
And you get the bug boy in the saddle as well with the weight off with the red hot Jeff Mullins.
And he rides everything. Carmona, he's not the most polished guy, but he'll give you your 2 cents worth,
$2 worth.
Yeah.
Race number 5 is when the fireworks begin. That's because it's the start of the $2 pick 6, as previously mentioned. As you can see on the screen, $100,000 carryover. Nobody solved the riddle on Sunday, so that's good news for us players today. In race 5, we're sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track for maiden claiming 3-year-olds. $32,000 of the claiming tag. Scratch the 1, Jaguar John. Still leaves us with a full field of 10. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Andy, number 6, Mud Dillon, by the way, is the 2-1 morning line favorite. You wanted to show a workout for number 7, Code Breaker. This was a team gate drill somewhat early in the morning on March 29th. That is Code Breaker on the outside. Broke very well out of the gate. Yeah. Tell us why you wanted to show this workout.
Well, first off, it's kind of broken slow the first couple times. That's Aguilar up. He broke the horse really good. And the horse got in stride really fast and had a really good reaction. And I love when they do this. They break on top. They let the company come up. The horse relaxes. He just sits on this horse until the turn, then lays a long neck, half length in front, breezing all the way. For a cowbred, 32 maiden claimer, this is pretty good. It's only a half mile. You'd like to see longer, but he does absolutely nothing wrong. The horse on the inside from the Galvin barn is clearly second best. He's under pressure here. And Aguilar just sits on his horse. And then, as you can see, gets about a half length in front. For me, my pick 6 ticket will go down very fast if this horse doesn't win. I'm going to single him on my ticket.
If we had time, you could go back, and then you certainly have time as players watching the seminar. Go back and watch the replay for the same race that both Code Breaker and Mutt Dillon exit. That race that particular afternoon on March 8th was at 5.5 furlongs. You can see, looking at the racing form, they basically finished relatively close to each other, but make no mistake, Mutt Dillon was going up and down as they got close to the wire. Number 7, Code Breaker, who we just saw work after breaking tardily in the afternoon last last time out, actually was closing ground on the rail and probably on the gallop out, which would have been equal to the 6 furlong distance, was well in front of Mutt Dillon, the morning line favorite. We see that you like number 7, Andy, but you also give a little love to number 2, Unbreakable Trust, with the drop down in class.
Yeah, the drop is massive. He's run against some pretty good horses. This is a pretty looking colt. It's been an underachiever so far, but man, this drop is so massive that I'd have to leave it in. So I've made it my second choice. There's really nothing to knock about it, but it's kind of just a run around the track kind of horse. I'm afraid. I hope maybe not. So we will see. But John Sadler has looked for everything to do with this horse: long on the grass, short in the dirt, short on the grass, and now I think they've just sort of said, well, this is what we have in Maiden 32.
Randy, Andy, a quick question for you before we take a look at race number 6. That would be, as everybody knows, we've had a major influx of Northern California horses come down here to Southern California and train. Have you had to kind of adapt your workout mechanism, so to speak, in order to learn what's sort of like what the patterns are for these new trainers who you might not be familiar with?
Some of them I do. Like some of them show up at Del Mar, like Andy Mathis and Steve Sherman. So
Bill McLean.
And Tim McKenna. Yeah, I'm familiar with a lot of these guys, not all of them. So yes, you're dealing with slightly lesser stock. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes you just have to, you're not looking for as much, you're not looking for what you're going to get out of Bob Baff or $1 million horse, obviously. So you just kind of look for, usually with the lower level horses, even on our circuit, you're looking for any little thing that will be a positive. You're not looking for the moon.
Kind of like what we saw with Code Breaker. Broke alertly from the gate. Yeah. One example, low level claimer. Yeah. Now it looks like maybe he's cleaned up his bad breaking habits.
I totally agree. So I think as far as patterns are concerned, I think it gets superseded by the whatever the drill is. Now, I'll get burned a few times thinking horses are not training well and they'll err, and so I'll hopefully trial and error figure out some of these guys.
But you know better than anybody else, there's also a lot of morning glories.
Yeah. Oh, there's more. Yeah, more. There's more morning glories than there are horses that train poorly and run well. It's generally you eventually get used to the ones that are morning glories. You just go, oh, that's what he does all the time. You don't get too excited.
And never reproduces it in the afternoon.
Exactly. Unless like morning glories will eventually win when they get everything their own way. They get an easy lead. They get a weak group. The trainer finds a soft group or the perfect distance for the horse. But, usually morning glories will eventually find their place as long as everything is, there's not a straw in their path, so to speak.
See if there's any straws in the path for the runners running in race number 6, which, by the way, begins both the 50-cent late pick 5 as well as the $3 all turf pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout. And both wagers begin in race 6, going 1 mile on the turf course for fillies and mares. It's a starter allowance race. Take note, number 1, Annie's Joy will now be ridden by Armando Ayuso. Leaves us with a field of 8. Number 4, Rosalie May from the Michael McCarthy barn is the 2-1 morning line favorite. 8 ways you can go here, Andy. Which way you going?
Yeah, there are a lot of ways to go in here. I just went with the horse that I have the best drill on. It's the outside horse. I'm a Joker. The last gate
20-1. I'm listening.
Yeah, if it runs back to some of the races on its schedule here, it has a shot in here. Again, 20-1. A lot of these races that feel very wide open on the grass, it's the trip. So I just went with what I thought was the best drill. Doug O'Neill, unlike a lot of trainers, he will gate established horses, and it works for him really well. And he's very good at placing horses. I suspect this horse will show good speed from the outside with Antonio Fresu up. Like I said, the gate draw was good, and at 20-1, I got to at least take a flyer on this horse.
We're looking at the graphic. You also give a little up to an 8-1 shot drawn right inside of I'm a Joker, number 7, Speed Lane. She's got a good improving by her speed figure pattern going from sprint to route, second off the long layoff, but just 2 for 26 lifetime. What do you like about her?
She's no win machine, but I do think she's getting better. Victor Strix with the horse Victor Espinoza has had 3 or 4. They're slow drills, but they're really good by Vladimir Sarin's barn. He is also one of those guys that you kind of watch past the wire, see what they're doing, going down to the clubhouse turn. This horse has finished out well both times. I'm not sure what they're going to do with this horse. This horse has shown speed and stop. It's kind of a, it has to be up close. So it's going to be a funny trip that Victor's going to have to work out with this horse. But I do think it's improving horse. And, when Vladimir won a race here the other day, when he's hot, it's, get on the train.
One of your contemporaries in the morning, Toby Terrell, who you well know, actually liked the workout for number 2, Miss McWhinnie, back on March 23rd. That's the other Doug O'Neill trainee in the race. Also has the best last race by her speed figure. Have you seen any of Miss McWhinnie's drills since her last race back in mid-February?
Yeah, the last on the 30th was really good in company. Giovanni Franco worked it as he has all along. The filly broke behind a horse and ran it down. On paper, it looks just like it's got a big shot. There's nothing to knock about the drills. It's always trained pretty well. So, I could absolutely see it. Absolutely.
Race number 7 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We're sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track. Furlongs optional claiming types. Non-winners of 2 other than. Take note, number 3, Get Her Number, is a first-time gelding, the morning line favorite down on the rail. Thornhouse from the Dean Pedersen barn. 6-5 on the morning line. Hasn't been seen in the afternoon since Delmar in July of 2024. This son of Clubhouse Ride certainly has a nose for the finish line. 9 career starts, 4 wins, 4 seconds, improving by her speed figure pattern, but the long layoff and the rail draw. What say you about race 7, Andy?
Well, Thornhouse is training well. He definitely could win. I just went with another way. I went with what I think is going to be the race shape with the Bob Hess Book Smart in here, who is one of those horses is going to go 44 flat to the top. You're going to string this field out. She got tired but held last time. I don't see any reason why he won't just run that same race. So, I took Get Her Number in here, who's off the break but has a long series of drills, is gelded. The horse is 7 years old. It's going to get something to run at in here. I am guessing a little bit. I will say that. So Get Her Number at a price. Hopefully I can upset the apple cart in here. I went with him as my second choice is Elwood Blues, who shows up every time. Just got beat by a Zod on the wire last time. So it has run every time, just like Thornhouse. I have nothing to knock about Thornhouse. I didn't pick it only because it drew the rail and it was 6-5. But it could be a player in here. It's going to be a funny run race. I don't know how it's going to be run, so I took the horse that would be far back early.
Couple of additional comments about Andy's top 2 selections. Number 3, Get Her Number. It's interesting if you have the past performances in front of you. You can see that he's a first-time gelding, as I mentioned, but he re-adds Lasix. He's been running in graded stake races, so as you peruse the past performances, the last 2 times he used Lasix, he's actually hit the winner's circle. That could be a key, somewhat hidden angle if you do like number 3, Get Her Number. And Andy talked about number 4, Booksmart, having so much blazing early speed. If you look through the past performances, you can see, at least for the last 12 races that I can see in my racing form, he's been front at the quarter pole each and every time. Certainly it's his race to be in front, certainly early on in the race. Race number 8 begins the $3 late pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout. And we kick things off coming down the Hillside Turf Course. Good to see the Hillside Turf Course back in action. You'll see a number of races this San Anita Derby weekend coming down the Hillside Turf Course. And in race number 8 today, this is for Calbred, fillies and mares, non-winners of 1 other than. Scratch the also eligible number 9, Riders Candy, leaves us with a field of 8. Number 2, Lovely Idaho from the Red Hot Mike Pipey barn, owned by Dylan Donnelly, who's been on this seminar many times, is the 9-5 morning line favorite. Give us your thoughts on race 8, Andy.
I went with the rail horse in there, Elegant Sway, who we have a workout on.
Well, let's show that workout as a matter of fact, because this workout was in my opinion, very impressive. It's on the main track. It's a solo workout back on March 18th. Although the time isn't that flashy, Andy, I think the viewers will see turning for home. In my opinion, of all the workouts we've showed during the seminar today, this was the most impressive one to me.
Yeah, and the one I really liked was the last one. This is on the 18th, and the drill that I really liked is the 27th. We just didn't have it on camera, but this is almost equally as good. This is Kyle Frey up in this horse. I kind of like they claimed this horse, Little Red Feather, and the group claimed it, and they dial it back to down the hill from a 2-turn race.
The exercise rider's not asking at all this horse whatsoever.
No, and it's moving fluidly. I think they might have made a very useful claim in here. Kyle just sits, and as you can see, it's in the 3 path. He kind of stayed off the rail all the way. This is Andy Mathis, and one thing I've noticed about Andy Mathis from his forays into Del Mar, he's really, really good good at figuring out placing his horses around on our circuit. Sometimes it's difficult if you're up north to figure out where your horse belongs. He's been really good at it over the years.
You can tell by the camera speed. Elegant Sway was certainly moving along quite fast, and again on the gallop out, as we just saw.
Yeah.
Nothing to knock about that workout, and I certainly understand why you like Elegant Sway at 6-1 on the morning line. But you do give a little respect to Lovely Idaho, second off the claim, emerged victorious last time out. Good improving by her speed figure pattern. And there's things to like about this filly as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was taught long ago, when a filly's going good, stick with her, and she
and
ran
the
out
opposite is true, by the way.
Absolutely. Don't give an excuse. I was always told, don't give an excuse to a filly or mare for a bad race. And the converse, as I just said, this horse ran out the door last time. It's going to be the speed crossing the dirt, I think, and we'll see if it can hold on. But it's doing so well. She's feeling really good. It came out with a real easy half the other day. It was just a get around the track maintenance drill. But I don't see any reason why I can't run a bang-up race right back.
Race number 9 begins the $5 late daily double, also with a reduced 15% takeout. Higher minimums, lower takeouts mean better payouts. You've seen that time and time again in all these new wagers that Sanita introduced this meet. And race number 9, we're sprinting 5.5 furlongs on the main track. It's a restricted allowance optional claiming race. There are 2 scratches. Scratch the 8 Wind Ribbon as well as number 14. However, one of the also eligibles, number 13 Super Now, does draw into the race. The morning line favorite, number 2 Wound Up, who is on a 3-race win streak after being claimed but for $10,000 by Lee Baraccio. That 3-race win streak has also coincided with Kyle Frey in the saddle. This horse has never been better, Andy, kind of earning almost stakes, buyer speed figure, stake speed figure numbers. Is Wound Up beatable in your opinion?
I'm going to try to beat it. So I went with the 4-horse near Manchild, who ran an awfully good race last time, steps up in here, has the last drill was with Cabo Spirit, was clearly better than Cabo Spirit. I don't see any reason why I can't jump up into 32 and run a big race. It'll be the closest to Wound Up, I would think, down the backside. Wound Up, there's nothing to knock. It's going to be 3 to 5, and you know what? I'm afraid to leave it off a ticket. But I'm trying to beat it with a horse that's 8-1 on the morning line. And we go to the leading rider, J.J. Hernandez, who obviously give it an aggressive ride. He's ridden it before. The horse that I went in the second hole is Way, and one of the horses that drew in off the also eligibles, the 13 horse in here called Super Null, who had a really terrific drill before it ran last time and looped the field. It was visually, I thought, impressive. Tiago rated it back, looped around the entire field. It was drawing clear and galloped up past everybody. It could be an improving horse in here. It was in the Field of Model Barn, and they had it on the grass all the time. Maybe it was a dirt horse all along. Tiago sticks with the horse and draws again on the outside. So at Super Null, I will take a shot. It's 6-1 on the morning line. If you can beat the obvious favorite, which will be difficult, Wound Up, the number 2 horse in here, you will certainly knock out a lot of tickets.
2 additional comments on the top 2 horses that Andy likes. His top selection, number 4, Manchild, if you have the past performances in front of you. The last 2 times since he's been transferred into the George Papadromo barn that he's run on the main track, he's emerged victorious. His turf effort wasn't bad either, but the last 2 times he's been on the main track, he has hit the winner's circle. And speaking of liking the main track, number 13, Super Now, 2 times on a fast main track, 2 victories as well, with an 83 buyer speed figure last time out, and the internal fractions are rock solid as well. Interesting race in the pick 6 sequence. We close out a very solid pick 6 card as well as a 10 race card in race number 10, where we're offer $1 super high 5 wagering. In race 10, we're going 1 mile on the turf course for Calbred 3-year-olds, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than, a good field of 9. Number 4, Got Sold from the aforementioned Andy Mathis barn, is the 2-1 morning line favorite. We need a winner to close it out, Andy. Who's it going to be and why?
All right, we took a shot on the outside horse, the Shillelagh. I've always thought this horse would be best routing. They've sprinted the horse 4 times from the Ryan Hansen barn. It's kind of runs, sprints like a router, kind of even kind of efforts. Tiago's worked this horse in the morning. The outside box isn't my favorite, but it did run a decent race last time. It's a really wide open race, to be honest with you. But on the outside at 8-1, I'm going to take a shot. Number second choice in here for me is the rail, No Poking Around, who it drew really well. It's had 2 much improved drills since gelded. It won one and ran a good second last. Gets Rispoli, who gives obviously a terrific turf rider. Hopefully we'll get the garden trip sitting behind horses down inside. They have had this horse in the lead and it did win, so maybe they'll go to the lead, but I suspect he'll get rated a little bit. So the number 2, we went with the 9 over the 1 in the final race.
Andy, we always love you poking around trying to find us some winners based upon your expertise. You're out here every morning watching the horses work. You're doing a new thing called Substack. Talk to us about that.
Oh, you can go on, it's andrewharrington.substack.com. It's a
you're not becoming an author on us, are you?
No, it's kind of the best of the previous week's works. Plus, free of charge. Now
there's a premium upgrade.
Yes, a premium upgrade. I also go over all the races from the previous week, and there's 2 or 3 trip horses kind of jump out at me. I'll put them there. As time goes by, that's going to become my main thing. At the end of the year, I am most likely retiring from doing a daily workout.
You don't even have a gray hair in your head. How the heck are you going to retire?
Yeah, it's a dead zone up here in more ways than one. So that's my general plan. Is at the end of the year, I probably will stop doing the daily workout report and just do the Substack, which will be kind of a once a week and kind of the best of the previous week kind of stuff. But who knows?
Nobody knows.
Looking at the market the last 2 days, I might be working till I'm 90. So
you're about the 15th person to tell me that today. Some people have already canceled the trip for San Diego Derby because of those crazy tariffs that have been put into place. So hopefully you'll be clocking horses and working for nationalturf.com for a long time to come, Andy. Thanks so much for your time and insight. It's been long overdue. I didn't have you since opening week at San Diego. So thanks for the time and insight.
It's always my pleasure.
Sometime soon.
Always my pleasure, Tom.
Before we let you go, one more reminder, everybody, the $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5. It starts early today. 3 races from San Diego. It'll be the sequence will be concluded before the start of the Pick 6. The Pick 5 begins today in San Diego Race 2, 1:32 on Pacific time. Once again, higher minimum $1, lower takeout 15%. You know the story; it always pays well. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a great afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow, San Diego Derby Day.
Please rise for our national anthem. Please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon. Welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place where the track is fast, the turf is firm, and the track conditions are brought to you by John Deere. The rail on the turf is out 30 feet. Here are the changes. The first, start of the early pick 5, scratch number 6, Girl Can't Help It. Race 2 will begin the early pick 4. Number 2, Cohart, 1 pound over. In the third, scratch 9, Blushing. Fourth race offers middle pick 4 wagering, scratch 2, Good Vibes only. Note the number 7, Top Gun Classic, 1 pound over. Fifth race kicks off the pick 6, scratch 1, Jaguar John. There's $100,000 plus in the pick 6 carryover. Good luck. In the 6, number 1, Annie's Joy, make the rider Armando Ayuso. All turf pick 3 starts, as does the late pick 5. Race 7, the first leg of the late pick 4. No changes. 8th race starts the $3 late pick 3. Scratch number 9, Riders Candy. In the 9th, scratch 8, Wind Ribbon. Scratch 14, Gypsy Tears. The 13, Supernal will run. And in the 10th, Super High 5 wagering is offered. No changes. Enjoy your day here at Santa Anita Park. Don't forget, tomorrow it's the Santa Anita Derby. 27 minutes to post for the opener. Coast to Coast Pick 5 offered every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We start the Coast to Coast Pick 5 action this afternoon, and it begins right here with Santa Anita's second race. 27 minutes to post for the opener. Have a wonderful afternoon.